Did you see that Studio Wit is remaking One Piece? Yeah. Wait, I was actually going to ask about this. Why? Didn't they already do a remake? Okay. Didn't they already do a remake of One Piece where they like went back and did a few of the early chapters again? Oh, the movies? Wait, were those movies? They made movies of the old saga. Okay. So they did a movie remake. Why do it again? Why do we feel the need to? There are so many wonderful uses of people's time. Why remake the most successful anime of all time? Is that really what we need to? Ruben keeps terrorizing Pigeon. Pigeon goes down for some kibble, and then Ruben jumps on her. The movies were like DBZ Kai, where they just improved the animation, remove filler. Did they improve it? Because I saw clips of Arlong Park in the original anime and in the movie remake. Okay? And the remake sucked is what I saw. They upped the boobies. They did that thing. They did the art style shift. And it just looked dry and uninteresting in comparison. Yeah, that's what we're talking about, Holic Master. I can't see the comparison I was looking for. Whatever. There's a version of Arlong Park where Luffy just plops the hat onto Nami's head, didn't savor the moment at all. Is that... Wait, in the movie remake, did they skip her stabbing her arm? Wait, did they seriously do that? There's no way. No, okay, they didn't skip her okay. Yeah, you should read the manga, serious person. You should be a serious person. Which studio making Spy X Family, the first 3 seasons of Attack on Titan, Ranking of Kings... Oh, Ranking of Kings looked nice. I got bored of it because it felt like it was just doing whatever the but it's nice. Also, Ranking of Queens had Healing, the waifu, the most of this waifu that we've had since Pearl in Steven Universe. She's a queen with a pointy nose, and for some reason, even though it's like a sort of jolly, like adventurous adventure story, they gave her some fat milkers. It's crazy. Look at her official design, just standing normally. This is just what she looks like at rest, you know? Like, what can we do to spruce up this character design? I have 2 big ideas. Absolutely classic. Fantastic. Well done. She's actually super cute. She's the main thing that I remember from the show. Last one. Very cute. Yet only one is visible. It's stylization. What do you want? Shut up. Chainsaw Man movie teaser dropped. Yeah, I'm not excited for it. I don't like it when we're doing a good, faithful manga adaptation, and then we go off script. Also, I don't give a shit about Reese. Sorry. Sorry, I'm the one guy. I'm the one guy. I don't think Reese was very thematically interesting or interesting as a character. And the only reason people like her so much is because they fall for her the same way Denji was meant to. Literally. Literally a honeypot. And people, like none of the, like, thematic interest offered by Power or by, Makima. Instead, it's just like, oh, she's a cute girl and she basically gets naked at one point. So, like, now we love her too. And it's like, damn, dude, you would literally fall for all the shit Denji did, huh? You motherfuckers would literally do the exact same thing. You would get honeypotted. How's it going off script? Because there's no manga material for a movie on Reese. Wait, hold on. By movie on Reese, are they saying they're gonna do the Reese arc in the movie, or they're going to do a separate movie on Reese? Oh, it's just the arc is a movie. Oh, okay. If that's the case, then yeah, okay, cool. It's like the Demon Slayer movie. Yeah, the problem though is that the Demon Slayer movie sucked. Dude, is anyone else sick of them like marketing and releasing anime movies where it's literally just like 4 episodes strung together? It was just 4 TV episodes of the anime that they just released as a movie. It doesn't look or feel any different. Vosh the Train movie, I liked that. I would have liked it more if they'd released it as 4 separate episodes. I still don't understand what this remake is. Confirmed it'll start from the East Blue Saga, just where the manga and original anime did. So are we gonna like simultaneously have the live action? So we're gonna have the mainstream original series and the movie remakes of the beginning and the live action remake and the manga, and now we're just doing another anime from the beginning. It's an avenue for new fans. The avenue for new fans is start watching or reading from the beginning. That's the. It's not like it's hard. You can get it on Wiz or Shonen Jump or what. You can just start reading. Better animation? You don't need. It's fine. You know, we don't need better animation. It's fine. Just watch the new stuff. I did the Iron Mage. Well, that makes it even more redundant. What about a Brotherhood treatment of One Piece? Well, there doesn't need to be. The anime is already faithfully adapting the manga. It's just adding filler. Vosh, who the time to read 1,000+ chapters of manga? It's way faster than watching it. What about the money? I mean, yeah, I know, but like, what the fix the pacing is my big issue. Just skip the filler. The pacing is fine if you just skip the filler. What if you read it? What if you read the manga? I guess the point would be to cut out the filler. Then just watch without the filler. The beginning of the anime is slow and boring as hell, TBH. Well, not a problem with the manga. No, Vosh, you don't understand. They extend canon scenes of the anime. Well, yeah, of course. That's pretty typical. Like, pretty much all adaptations do that. They do that in Full Metal Alchemist, too. It's not... Like, if you have a 2-minute fight scene in an anime, the manga panels necessary to draw that out would be like 6 chapters. You know, that's how it is. They drag it out more than necessary. Then read the manga. It's better than the anime. Read the manga. It's really good. Have you considered that chat is illiterate? Well, thankfully there's pictures to go along with the words. But I can't read? What, are you watching it in English dub? But manga looks cheap and gross compared to graphic novels. Man, you might have to watch it muted off screen because of copyright, but look at this bullshit. I didn't realize that One Piece also cut down on the actual episodes. I assumed that it just skipped the filler episodes like in Naruto. I didn't know that. My recommendation is to read the manga, you illiterates. That's why I want new anime. Get over yourself, you baby. Oh my god, we want to... Oh, sorry, it's already like the most popular anime property in history and already has like captured the hearts, but let's do it again. Let's just dedicate all animators' time at all time, forever, for all human history, just to remaking One Piece over and over again, okay? Get over... This is what you've got, okay? Most people don't even get this, you know? Just read the manga. Read the manga. Read the manga. Don't you think there's an issue with the most popular anime being mostly read? What are you talking about? First of all, it's not. Second of all, it should be. Third of all, no. Fourth of all, how can it be the most popular anime while also being mostly read? What the f*** are you saying? Why are you called Serious Person in chat? Why is that your name? What are you talking about? Oh my god. What about the animators who want to actually... No animators want to animate One Piece, okay? Animators want to work on their own projects to bring new life to interesting stuff, okay? Nobody wants to be put in a position where illiterate fanboys are going to be crawling over every detail of their adaptation to compare it to the original, okay? Nobody wants to do that. There are managers and executives who want the money from doing that. The whole point is to give the anime watching an entry in. There already is. It's the beginning of the anime. That's the entry into watching the anime. The beginning. That's it. It's still there. It's not lost media. Because people get tired of the anime and they go to manga after time skip. Yeah, because the anime sucks compared to the manga. How is that my problem? Making another anime will not fix that. Manga just tend to be better than the anime that are adapted off them. There are very few exceptions to this. It's just, you loser illiterates have no imagination, so you see, like, uncolored drawings on a page, and you're thinking, like, how did he just land a punch? They're not moving. I'm looking at this page, and they're not moving. It's... this guy's acting like he just got punched, but they're not moving. Like, you can't fill in any of the details in your mind because you're weak. Meanwhile, I, with my giga brain, okay, I'm imagining the sickest shit while I'm reading a manga. Shit, by the way, that actual animators do not catch up to, okay? You can have the best animated shit in the world, okay? There's no way any budget will sustain that level of creative engagement. It's just not possible. They don't move in most anime either. What do you mean? That's true. Vosh and anime is more than images moving, for God's sake. You're right. There's also sound. My apologies. Okay, let me explain what I said so that I can prove that I'm right and you're all wrong, okay? Adaptations are, as a rule, worse than the things they're adapting unless they do the important part of an adaptation, which is adapting. The problem with anime adaptations of manga is that they usually do very little to make what they're taking work in the medium of animation. Instead, what they do is they just recreate panel by panel what happened and then, add in animation where it's implied. That's it. They don't actually adapt. They just move it from one to another and then do the necessary amount of animation to make it not look, ridiculous. This is one of the reasons why there's a huge difference between, say, manga to anime adaptations and book to movie adaptations. Book to movie adaptations are totally different because there aren't any images to work off of, which means that usually it's accepted that there's a lot more like leeway and flexibility in how you bring things forward. Can you imagine if they made a movie adaptation and they followed the exact scene structure and order from a book? Can you imagine them doing that for like 90% of the book to movie adaptations they did? It would be insane. There are so many conventions of like pacing and plot structure and the way scenes are structured that work in books because you're reading words that wouldn't work in a movie because you're not, in terms of like the time you have and the constraints for the blah, blah, blah. So those tend to work and be a lot less awkward. But have you ever wondered, like, hey, why the does every anime feel like you'll have two guys fighting and every time one of them lands a punch, there's then a 30-second break so some sideline character, can be like, whoa, he just did the da-da-da-da-da. The reason why that happens every time is because in manga, it's pretty difficult to draw motion, so it's a pretty common trope to have another character there to explain what just happened that the mangaka couldn't necessarily draw, especially if it's some like complicated anime superpower bullshit where it's like some specific like JoJo shit. Like, can you imagine JoJo fights with no dialogue? What the would even be happening? Who I don't know, nobody knows. Certainly not the people doing the fight, they need those explanations. So that works really well. JoJo panels work really, really well in manga because it doesn't feel weird or awkward to see a still shot of two people JoJo posing at each other while both of them are talking an essay about how they feel about the attack they think they just saw the other person do. But then you watch it in animated form and you can see the animators, the cogs in their brain, like struggling to try to figure out how the do we make it look natural in motion for all of this dialogue to be happening in the space of time of like a single set of punches being exchanged. And the answer is usually you can't, and it just looks awkward, The only really good one that I can think of, and I'm pretty sure this wasn't even new to the adaptation, it was just in the manga, was in Diamonds Are Unbreakable. What's his name? Ronan? Not Ronan. The artist is like smugly thinking about how he's won in his fight over Josuke, and then there's like a timer happening, like this happened in 1/100th of a second or something, and then he gets punched in the face. Rohan, thank you. I agree that JoJo anime tends to do pretty good in being self-aware about how all this happens. Yeah, I agree. JoJo is like absurdist enough that you can get away with that, Would you say the Chainsaw Man show was good? Sure, but ultimately it's not as good as the manga, not even close. And it's for the same reason. If you try to do a beat for beat, like recreation of manga, though they did take some liberties in the anime that I respect and some that I don't, you're going to have an inferior product, Sandler, I don't know if it's very chill, but Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood is one of the like top tier like entry anime. You gotta admit the Annie's Lobby I Want to Live scene works better in anime format. I think it's good. I think it works better in manga format, but I think it like works really well in both. So I'm not, that's not like a strong preference. Your argument is literally quashing the nuance of every good adaptation we currently have. Nitpicking and biased. Bye-bye. No, I stand by it, yeah. Different mediums are different mediums. There are radically different like methods of constructing an anime versus a show versus a manga versus a book versus a song or whatever, and to just try to go like, let me animate this manga, like, it doesn't work. Like you couldn't do that. You can't just take a book structure and then make it a movie. There are things you can do in a movie that you cannot do in a book. One big example, montages. Montages are purely well, not live action, but it's an animated. It has to be in motion. Purely an in motion thing. You can't do a montage in a book. The structure for it is just not really. You can do something kind of like it, but you can't quite do one. You know, like a book, a Rocky book could not have been like the movie, but in book form. You know, there are differences between different mediums. I just think that more effort should be put into like, how do you make it work in this versus that? Like, how do you improve it? You know? What about Bocchi the Rock? I thought that improved massively from the manga. Yeah, because Bocchi the Rock was initially a 4-panel comedy comic, wasn't it? So to make the anime, they actually adapted it. The bad version of what they could have done with Bocchi the Rock would have been going the Nichijou route, which would have been just keeping all the little 4-panel bits and make that's K-On! Isn't it both? Didn't they do that with K-On!? What they did was they went forward with it and they adapted it in a way that actually like made meaningful changes to make it more acceptable for a different format. They made those changes. Now, Nichijou worked in its adaptation of the 4 like panel comedy bit because they leaned into it so hard that they actually like they first of all, they committed to it rather than making a typically structured anime, and 2, they leaned into improving it in ways that animation allows you to. You know, they took what they like. Some of the best scenes in Nichijou are things that literally could not have been done in manga because they rely on movement. Right? I think Mob Psycho 100 is a great example of good. Yes, perfect. Yes, Mob Psycho 100, phenomenal example. 100. As somebody who's read the manga and watched the anime and is a huge fan of both, that's an exceptional example of taking a manga and taking what you needed to from it and making all the alterations necessary to make it work in animated form. Yeah, it's so good. For a weaker example, you can look at One Punch Man Season 1, and for a significantly weaker example, One Punch Man Season 2. What about Akira movie versus manga? I haven't read the manga. Isn't it like 5 billion pages? I haven't read the manga. I want to. See what you mean with Mob Psycho 100, how they adopt the manga, but I feel like more anime directors are making more creative liberties with like JJK. Yes, I like JJK. I'm a big Jujutsu Kaisen fan. I didn't like the manga that much. That would be an example of something, of a media where I actually prefer the adaptation to it, yeah, because they lean in so hard on, well, obviously on the Sakuga, but also there's so much like tonal work they do in Jujutsu Kaisen that literally just can't translate into manga. You know what I mean? There's so much work they do in the anime that is just like mood setting that you just can't do in black and white drawn panels, you know? But your tone from the start has been adaptations always suck? No. Adaptations suck unless they actually adapt. That's my problem with anime adaptations, where they don't really adapt. They literally just take the panels and they animate them. They don't make the structural changes necessary to make it work in the new medium. There are lots of examples of bad adaptations that fall into this trap. It's just the animation does nothing but animate the manga. It doesn't elevate it in any way. I think it's much better to try to make meaningful changes. Hunter x Hunter is also better in anime. I think there are significant issues with the adaptation in Hunter x Hunter, but thankfully they did such a good job and the original material was so good that it ended up being amazing anyway, you know? But I think more work could have been done there. Hunter x Hunter mostly gets credit for reorganizing the Antark. Yeah, that definitely was a big... The live action looks pretty shit, though. I haven't seen it. Wait, live action Hunter x Hunter? Didn't they come out with a Yu Yu Hakusho live action recently? Like Spy Family, I think it just animated the manga. I couldn't say, I haven't read it. Wait, is the Sword Art Online manga better than the anime? Sword Art Online was a light novel, not a manga, but both are trash, I'm sorry to say. How are video game adaptations different from anime adaptations structurally? One's a video game and one's an anime. What do you mean? Oh yeah, I think this a good example of this would be, did anyone see the Doom movie? From like, what was it, like 2001? When did that come out? The Doom movie? 2005. Oh man, later than I thought. Wow. With The Rock, yeah. I think that would be a really good example of like, how do we adapt a video game into a movie? Also, I have brain damage. Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of stuff like that, I feel. Yeah, Doom. I even enunciated it, gay Aaron. Man, you're too busy thirsting over Jackson Hinkle to even follow. How are there 6,000 people here for this? Look, I'm only saying I just want like good work being done with the adaptations. I think that for the most part, the issue with anime adaptations has been getting a lot better. However, a consistent problem you're going to keep running into, especially with long-running serialized shonen like One Piece, is that animating One Piece fights will never look as good as they do in my mind when I read the manga. They just won't. One Piece is so expressive and cartoony that all of the like bouncy, joyous expression making that you get in every panel kind of falls apart when inevitably an animating studio is going to have to cut between those panels and frames with their, in between frames, and it looks choppy. There's no way around it, you know? There's like 1,100 chapters of One Piece. You can't Jujutsu Kaisen your way through all of that. And even if you could, like, you'd have to make significant changes to make that work in animation form. You know, in JoJo, I can deal with a fight being paused by two dipshits talking to each other for a while. But I can't really in One Piece, you know? It doesn't fit One Piece. One Piece is like this bouncy, fun, energetic, uplifting, jubilant pirate, battle, one pizza, yeah. Battle manga slash anime, and to have it get paused because it's difficult to adapt that into animation while keeping the text box in, it's just I would rather just read it. I'm not saying it's bad to animate it or whatever. The Wano arc looked pretty great at times, just yeah, intelligent donkey. That's one of the problems with like adaptations being made by fans or being like scrutinized by fans, you know. You perfectly describe why I don't like the animated adaptation of The Dark Knight Returns. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I thought it was pretty good all told, but definitely not as good as the comic. Yeah, for sure. What we can all agree on is that Trigger originals are always a hit mostly. Well, they benefit from not being adaptations. Gurren Lagann, Kill la Kill, Fooly Cooly, Evangelion, all of these are original anime. They're not adapting off of anything, which means that a lot of the like really excellent tonal shit that you get, or the animation bits, or like the theme, or I guess the feeling of watching it through, is not tainted by having to like reconstruct elements of what worked in a panel format. Kill la Kill is manga based? No, nope. I'm not defending Darling in the Franxx. Trigger originals have so little movement. Are they even really animation? What the f are we talking about? Are you talking about like Luluco or Inferno Cop? I mentioned Kill la Kill. That's because you're dumb, the great and powerful. We deviated from the path. Yeah, maybe. Studio Trigger stuff is anime first, manga second. They don't make manga. People, they license out, and people sometimes make manga versions later, but they're made after the fact. And by the way, in those cases, you can actually read, you can read the Kill la Kill manga and see how much life is taken away from it by reducing it to panel format. I think they did well in what they were trying to do, but, it's really, can you imagine a comic like Gurren Lagann? So much of that shit would just not sell in drawings, Yeah. I mean, again, you can kind of see this issue in reverse here, but here's Ryuko fighting Jakuzure Nonon in manga form, and it's a manga adaptation, but this could never, Kill la Kill is so reliant on animation as a means of communication that taking the animation out of it means you're incredibly limited. What about manga artists who are good at conveying motion away? Yeah, you can do that, and that's good, but that's not the same as animation, right? It gives you some abilities, but it doesn't give you the same range of motion.